Great. So hello, everyone, and welcome to our July edition of the Live Insights with Sherweb. I'm extremely excited to be here with you guys today. This is already our fifth edition of Live Insights, which started back in February. So we continue to see great traction and interest from you guys. And so thanks again for being here with us for this presentation. Great. So my name is Guillaume. I'm one of the sales team leader here at Sherweb, and I'll be your host again for this edition. I'll be joined by a few of our Sherweb experts, including Dwayne, Jeremy, Tram, Alex, Mike, and Sophie, to really bring you all the hottest products news and updates happening, not just at Sherweb, but really in the market in general. So even though it's us doing the presentation, we want it to be as interactive as possible. So don't be shy of asking any questions or posting any comments in the chat as we go. We'll be taking all the time that we need at the end to answer those. We'll be bringing back all the experts on the screen to answer everything you guys want to learn more about. So with that being said, we'll record the presentation and it's going to be available on demand to everyone that want to rewatch it. We'll be posting some links in the chat as well as we go through the slides so that you guys can revisit anything that would be of higher interest to you. So I'm extremely excited. We have so many things to share with you guys this month, and we'll kick it off right away with Dwayne, one of our product and marketing manager at Sherweb, to talk about ways to ramp up your Azure and Microsoft practice with Sherweb. Hi, Dwayne.
How you doing, Guillaume?
Doing extremely good, and you?
I'm good, thank you very much. So I just want to welcome to all our partners. I truly appreciate you guys taking the time to join us today. And yes, I do got some great news for Azure Virtual Desktops, which is also formerly known as Windows Virtual Desktops. So Microsoft has extended their AVD promotion, and new customers can save 30% on Azure Virtual Desktops, computing costs for D series and B series virtual machines up to 90 days when using the native Microsoft solution. And you can redeem the offer directly in the Azure portal before December 31st, 2021. Just take note that this offer is only valid for VMs registered with Azure Virtual Desktops as session hosts. And also, redemption of the offer is limited to one per organization. If your organization has used Azure Virtual Desktops prior to this offer or has redeemed the offer via another subscription in the same billing scope, the organization is not going to be eligible for the discount. So I want you guys to check the link that we're going to be posting in the chat to see if you're eligible on how to activate the offer. And if you need help implementing a virtual desktop environment, our professional services team can help. I want you guys to think of them as an extension of your own team. We can help with planning, assessments, implementations, and migrations. And if you need an out-of-the-box solution for your next IT project, our professional services team will design and implement the best plan for you. So please, if you want some more information, they're going to be providing you with another link. So just click on that to find out.
Good, thank you, Dwayne. So I think you had some details to share also on the certification week, right, with Microsoft.
Yeah, so this is super cool. We understand that training and certifications is important to our partners, and we've expressed that to Microsoft. And now they're offering a certification week for partners. And this will be a virtual event hosted and running on Microsoft Teams from August 23rd, 2021 to August 27th, 2021. And certification week, it's a skilling event that Microsoft and Sherweb partners are, have come together, and we're going to, and it's for partners who want to demonstrate their skills, and make sure that, they want to improve their skill sets, and if they want some more training on specific type of topics. And what's great about this, it's a free 4-day event that combines a series of prerequisite training resources. It's led by experts who are going to do some study groups. There's an exam preparation sessions that's going to be available as well too. And basically allows you to you're going to be able to get a practice test and also a full exam voucher for free. So just want to let you guys know that it's not an official full training of the Microsoft topics, but rather it's more of a study guide and practice for people who are about to take their certification exam. So you should have at least 6 months or more about technical experience if you want to participate. There will be 2 different set time sessions available. There'll be one in the day and there will be one at night as well throughout the 4 days, which allows for schedule flexibility. And you'll be able to take the practice exam during the event and also be able to register for the final exam within 4 weeks of the event as well too. What's great is you can choose one of the training tracks, which they have trainings for, Microsoft Azure. They also have trainings for Dynamics 365, Microsoft 365, Microsoft Security, and more as well too. Just to let you know, the seats are limited, so sign up sooner than later to reserve your spot. And if you're ready to take that, your technical expertise to the next level, get all the details and register at the link that we're just about to post in the chat.
Awesome. That sounds like a great plan for MSPs that are looking to perfect their skills around the Microsoft stack. And what I think is great also about it is this event used to be on site, right? You had to attend in person. Now you can do it in the comfort of your home. And usually in the summer, it tends to be a bit quieter from a help desk perspective. So it's a good opportunity to train some of your employees to be ready for the next trends in the Microsoft ecosystem. So thanks for sharing that, Dwayne. And while you're there, can you talk a little bit about the new solution from Nerdio, also Nerdio Manager for MSPs?
Sure, no problem. So Nerdio Manager for MSP is a multi-tenant Azure virtual desktop and now Windows 365 deployment management and optimization platform for managed service providers. Nerdio Manager for MSP empowers managed service providers to automatically provision a complete AVD or Windows 365 environment in under an hour. It allows you to connect to an existing deployment in minutes, manage all of your clients in a single pane of glass admin portal, and optimize AVD environments with a powerful auto scaling. And what's great about the auto scaling is that it can reduce Azure infrastructure costs up to about 75% by shutting down compute or just completely removing both compute and storage when it's not in use. So if you're looking for a tool to manage your AVD environments or just don't have the Azure expertise to set up AVDs in the Azure portal, then you definitely want to take a look at Nerdio Manager for MSPs. And I would suggest you reach out to your account manager to find out more, and they can actually help you get access to the tool.
Awesome. Oh, that's great. And we have an awesome partnership with Nerdio. We work closely with them for onboarding sessions and demos. So feel free to reach out to our team. As you can see, we have a lot of value around the infrastructure space, which is a booming trend right now. So thanks for your time, Dwayne.
My pleasure.
Great. So moving on to the next segment, we're moving to a different product line. This one, Dynamics 365. So it's another trend. Also, a lot of smaller and medium businesses are looking to improve their operations. And one of the ways to do that is to get equipped with a very solid ERP system. Business Central is a great solution for SMBs, and sometimes MSPs don't necessarily know how to get into Dynamics 365 as they don't have the skills to implement or support such a solution. But Sherweb is making that easier for you guys. And even if you're a Dynamics partner looking to expand into more of the ERP space, I think you should also listen to the next segment. So I'd like to invite Jeremy, one of our Dynamics 365 experts at Sherweb, to talk about how we can assist. Hi, Jeremy.
Sure. Hey, Guillaume. So yes, absolutely. And if you were there at the last Live Insight, we presented Bam Cloud, which is another way to help you say yes to more Business Central projects. So even though you don't know much about Business Central, this is a good way to get started. So a few weeks ago, we were lucky enough to have a workshop delivered by Greg Kreskis, a Microsoft ERP partner technology strategist. And we deep dive into the product for more than 4 hours. So a very interesting workshop. You'll learn how to capture the Dynamics 365 of opportunity in the SMB market, how to demystify Dynamics 365 for your clients, why a fixed price, fixed outcome solution, so Bam Cloud, is your best bet to resell Business Central. And we also have a look at the new way to cross-sell Business Central to Azure and Microsoft 365 customers. And basically, all you need to do to access the workshop is click on the link. It's already available. Feel free to go in it and have fun learning Business Central.
Awesome. That sounds good. And really, Sherweb is there to make sure you guys don't say no to any Dynamics opportunities. Of course, this training is focused on Business Central, but if you have a customer inquiring about CRM or sales, customer service, anything around CRM or ERP, we're there to assist. So feel free to reach out to your account manager. We'll scope the needs. We'll make sure to loop you in with Jeremy and his team, or even an expert partner within our network that can assist with an implementation. So thanks for your time, Jeremy.
Thank you, Guillaume.
My pleasure. So staying in the same realm, we have a lot of business applications now with Sherweb, and one of them is Letsignit, a solution we launched in partnership with them last winter. So for those of you that don't know what it is, it's an email signature management solution for you guys to simplify your customer's life so that they can standardize their signatures and add banners for marketing and things like that. So I'd like to introduce Tram, our product manager for Letsignit at Sherweb, to talk about a new add-in feature for Letsignit. Hi, Tram.
Hi, Guillaume. Thanks for the introduction. And now you basically stole one of our few of my lines to basically introduce what Letsignit is. So thanks for that. As Guillaume mentioned, we have like a new feature which was recently launched in development directly with the Microsoft research and development teams, which is like the Outlook add-in. So it basically allows IT admins to instantly deploy Letsignit to all users directly from the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. So IT admins no longer need to deploy the Letsignit application on all of their employees' workstations to provide them with signatures. So we definitely know that this is a big game changer for a lot of our partners, and it also has been requested. So I'm very excited to be to announce it now. Signature deployment will now be handled basically by the most natural trusted third party for a Microsoft 365 user, which is Microsoft itself. So in a nutshell, with the new add-in, Microsoft 365 administrators can now instantly deploy thousands of email signatures to all of the employees on all of their devices directly from the Microsoft 365 Administration Center. So a real pretty good solution for especially large enterprises. So if anyone wants to learn more, please talk to your account manager to, for example, book a demo.
Awesome. Yeah, and a lot of partners are not aware that we have such a wide portfolio for business application, with Dynamics, with Letsignit. We even have Nimble, which is an entry-level CRM, and Quick Help, Sign Now, which we recently launched. So if you're looking to really expand your portfolio and expand into things that MSPs normally don't handle, it's a great way for you to differentiate yourself and add revenue to your customers' stack. So in terms of maybe a less positive news, so as you're all aware, Kaseya's VSA product was the victim of a sophisticated supply chain ransomware attack at the beginning of the month. So less than 0.1% of the company's customers were affected by the breach, all of whom were using the VSA on-premises product. So no evidence was found that any of their SaaS customers were compromised. However, as MSPs are vectors of attack, some end clients have also been caught up in the incident. So when an estimated 1,500 SMBs suspected of being compromised through their MSP. So Kaseya's professional services automation software was not affected, so there was no impact on the integration with our portal. Sherweb does leverage Kaseya VSA as part of our NOC and managed cloud services, but the VSA servers were promptly shut down and closely monitored. And after careful review was confirmed that our VSA servers were not compromised, but remained offline as a precautionary measure. So last week, these services came back online, and we would like to remind you to be careful about phishing campaigns and scam phone calls regarding the situations. So stay vigilant and reach out to the cloud support team at Sherweb if you have any questions. So now, on a more positive note, last month we officially launched the registration page of our Accelerate Cloud Summit, which is our annual event from Sherweb. We're moving it to Florida this year, as you know. It's also going to be available virtually for those of you that can't attend in person, but we're more than looking forward to shake some hands again and meet some of you guys face to face and have fun under the sunny Florida. So registrations are open. As I said, there's an early bird fee until August 13th. And this year's event's really going to be focused on 3 key topics or tracks, I should say. So one of them being infrastructure, which is the one we're going to focus on today to kind of preempt what we're going to talk about at the event. And to do that, I'd like to introduce Michael Slater, which is one of our manager for pre-sales at Sherweb, so that I can ask him a few questions. Hi, Mike.
Hey, Guillaume.
How's it going?
Good as always, brother. How about you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Thanks. So I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. Thanks for your time. I know you know a lot of requests that your team handled are around infrastructure, and you have a lot of expertise around that. So, so what would be the most important elements that an MSP should be paying attention to right now when it comes to infrastructure?
Sure. Well, I mean, infra is such a big beast to handle. So I'll kind of give my kind of introduction to cloud, where I think people should start with, because that's a great thing to go back to, is the fundamentals. I think Microsoft's cloud adoption framework is probably the best way to kind of approach things. So for people that aren't aware, it starts really easily. Defining projects, understanding motivations, outcomes, financial concerns, planning, so taking inventory of workloads, understanding limitations, and making order of operations. What priorities do you have for which loads you want to put in the cloud first versus which would be better for later. Setting up your project and your landing zone, so getting an idea of what you'd like to do, and really making sure that the infra is ready. And then the most important stage, which is the migration and innovation, or both, depending on what your outlook is. Migration can just be, we're going to put the existing load in the cloud and just really let it run, if it's been working forever and we don't need to change it. Or now it's innovation, right? So what third-party applications can I find within something like Azure that's going to make it more interesting, make my product more performant, right? So that's kind of an interesting approach we can take. And then the last we have is kind of governance and managing, right? So RIs are very popular, a great way to save money for clients, and a good way to lock in your margins over a period of number of years if you're looking at doing it that way. We also look at monitoring and kind of long-term resiliency, right? So let's say, the application would benefit from a little bit of redundancy. You can then look at doing that now in the cloud, when on-prem you might not have had the time or resources to do that. Very easy to do that in Azure. These are all kind of tough though, right? And this is a very, 5-minute conversation about a conversation we could have for a couple hours easily. So I'd always say is, especially at the first attempt, try to pick someone that knows what they're doing, right? So pick someone that can provide you with some professional services, kind of like Dwayne mentioned earlier on, an extension of your team. Somebody that can really help you sail past the speed bumps instead of getting caught up in them, and really deliver on that first project. Because after you do the first one, it's much easier to do the second, third, fourth, and fifth one.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense, and like we can see, there's multiple moving parts into building a strategy for infrastructure and moving workloads to the cloud. A lot more customers are considering doing that, and building a budget internally to do so. So, which one of these elements do you think has the greatest impact, in terms of growth potential for an MSP?
What I'd say is really healthy application approach services. So it's one of those funny things where we did our own research, right? We did the math. We took a look at which partners tend to do well, and believe it or not, it's the ones that tend to utilize the pro services, or the ones that tend to succeed. So we noticed is within the first 12 months of utilizing, there's usually a 10x increase in their cloud consumption for infrastructure, right? So they spent $1 on pro services to deliver a project. Within 10 months, they had 10x the cloud revenue running from that $1 spend. Which is, the ideal. That's what Microsoft always says, or that's what a lot of business people say, right? The 10x rule. So it's kind of an interesting way that works out. I think ProServe kind of had a negative connotation in the past, but I really feel like it does in terms of like break fix stuff. But when it comes to really kind of cloud, I think that it's something you can charge for, and it's a key part of establishing a profitable, solid cloud business. And again, what I always say is, another example is Sherweb, right? So we offer a really competitive rate, like really below market, if you deal with some of our competitors, for example. So it's very easy for you to add 20, 30, 50, even 100% of the services that you buy through Sherweb to do your cloud projects. And not only is it a way for you to get more money in the door long-term with your clients, it's a way for you to recoup some of the cost of sale that you have in dealing with them in the first place.
Awesome. No, definitely. We've seen a lot of partners getting into that space and then asking for help, especially for the first 2-3 projects, right, to get comfortable with moving those workloads and see how we go about it. So, so we talked a little bit about your role, of course, head of pre-sales at Sherweb, and like I said, we help a lot day to day in terms of infrastructure. So, what are the things that your team is helping partners with?
Sure. So, I mean, we do a lot of Sherweb, right? More than just even the IS part, but for the sake of argument, let's just drill down on that one specific facet of what we do, right? So we're kind of find ways right now. The focus is how do we operationalize a lot of the IS stuff that we do. So again, we did even more math because that's the trend to do right now is analyze what we've been doing in like this post-COVID world, and we really figured out, I guess surprisingly to us, was that 80% of our business that we have with MSPs is the same 20 projects we do day in and day out. So we kind of decided to do is, instead of kind of reinventing the wheel and kind of approaching with like a non-standard process, we just create something for partners to see, what are these 20 things you can do with us, right? What can we have that's kind of cookie cutter, that's pre-built, that we can utilize Azure or other infrastructure to do, and some Sherweb expertise on top to make it all kind of mesh together. So this catalog is kind of like your Sears catalog of IaaS, right? So we kind of decided we're going to build the first 10 solutions to be ready for September. So that means in September, you can talk to your account manager and say, hey, Guillaume, what can you guys do for me? I want to expand my cloud business. How do I get started? Well, imagine, like, again, pick from the catalog, see the things that work, and then you can execute on those with your account manager in a really quick, pre-built, easy way to do with fast turnover for these things. That's the idea. We're trying to really accelerate, pardon the pun, what we're trying to do here with our partners. Interesting things that we discovered, the other 20% is unique. But what we're doing is around the 20% that is unique, let's say you're an MSP who's trying to become an ISV, right, and sell your app in the cloud, we're going to develop a program just for you, right? So you can add your products into a marketplace for the first time. Or if you want an enterprise cloud offering, something for your customer that's large enough to justify, well, they want a private cloud solution. So we have infrastructure we can utilize to build that too. So our kind of making offerings like address these two markets, this 80-20 that we have. The last thing we're kind of doing is deciding, what's in our sphere of confidence, what we can do well. So from, let's say, those 20 things we do, what about the things that we don't? What about the opportunities that don't make sense to even do it in a private cloud scenario? So we're working on a P2P network, really similar to what Jeremy and Joel do with Dynamics. We're trying to do a pro services network for Azure as well too. Similar to what we do, again, with Dynamics. So if you're watching this and you are an Azure expert, I'd love to talk to you about adding you into our portfolio for some of the products you can offer other MSPs. So come and talk to me after this.
Great. I love that call to action. And as we can see, there's multiple things that that we can assist with. So the first step always being reaching out to your account manager when you have a question or a project about infrastructure. So maybe last question for you, Mike. So what would be your predictions for the channel and the cloud infrastructure in 2022?
Well, it's interesting. So I'll kind of cover what I consider to be like the top 3 things that I'm seeing that are kind of changing. So number 1 is storage, right? So like where the data is stored, how much of it, and who gets credit for it. So before the approach when getting people to the cloud was always, focus on SaaS applications, right? So just that, you get the MRR from something like Modern Workplace or M365, and that's just enough. Well, what I kind of noticed is people are now interested in like the storage where things sit. So for example, people saw in the news, Microsoft's now lowering the marketplace commission, right? Significantly, because they want people to load stuff onto Azure to get the consumption up. How that's being measured and where the data is sitting is becoming important. Or another example of that is, data sovereignty, where it sits, that's becoming very important too. So I think that's going to be a big part of how incentives are going to be built. And that's a big part of what I think we're going to see for this fiscal year, at least for Microsoft, from the Azure front, what they care about, which is going to be very interesting. Another thing that I'm noticing too is kind of the democratization of IaaS, if I would say. Really kind of looking at, that Windows 365 announcement that I know everybody has heard of now, but, was of particular interest to me and my IaaS team. Just because looking at it, at least the way it's presented and all the information we have right now from our partners like Nerdio and other tech people in the space, that could potentially replace Azure Virtual Desktop for a lot of SMB people, right? And that's an interesting thing to think, like a persistent desktop experience agnostic of hardware. That's kind of always been the Microsoft pipe dream. So I think that's going to be something to watch out for. And the last thing I think is going to be a big change is going to be the shift to how do I describe this properly? I would say that the new generation of break fixes that we're going to see rises from all this, right? So if you look at my kind of two previous points, IS is a big player, Windows 365 is coming up, storage is the new thing. What I kind of feel is going to happen now is that there's going to be people who are still selling naked Microsoft products that won't be held in the same regard as they used to before by Microsoft. So we've seen it ourselves with Microsoft people we deal with. There's a really big focus, not just on modern workplace anymore. They really want you to get expertise in all clouds, particularly Azure. So what I'm kind of seeing is that people that just do well selling naked M365 subscriptions, business premiums, it's not going to be enough anymore in Microsoft's eyes. So what we really need to do is start adding more stuff around that. So adding infrastructure to your clients where it fits, right? Adding security solutions, online backup.
Still there, Mike?
Find ways to sell more than just come and join us at Accelerate. There's going to be lots of experts from my team and lots of other teams to hear and give you more insight into the cloud business and where it's going in 2022.
Awesome. Thanks. I thought I had lost you for a moment. Sorry for that. But no, it's going to be, I think, pretty busy with regards to Windows 365, you and your team. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions from our partners. Already some started to reach out. So we're launching. Exactly, right. So come join us at Accelerate. I've been part of the last 4 events, and it's just an incredible experience. And partners usually come out of that with a lot of ideas to grow their business and expand the partnership. So moving on to the knowledge network. So we've announced it a couple of times now. It's where you can find all the important trainings and conferences, seminars coming up. There's some that are on demand as well. So a couple of highlights for the month of July. We have Azure Arc enabled servers training for service integrators, and also for Dynamics partners, we have a training on supply chain management and how to build a resilient supply chain. So if you're looking to get more training, there's lots of resources available to you. So use the knowledge network, use the partner university, and get in touch with us. We can always customize trainings for you with some of our subject matter experts, part of Michael's team. So we're looking forward to continue helping you guys grow your practice. So now a very fun and exciting segment as always. I'd like to invite Alex, from Sherweb, that is really just keeping always on top of everything happening around Microsoft and the news on the ecosystem. And last week was Microsoft Inspire. I'm sure you guys sat on a few sessions, including the one for Windows 365, of course. So hi, Alex.
Hi, Guillaume. I'm not going to ask you how you're doing.
Already said I'm doing great. So
exactly. But as you mentioned, it was Microsoft Inspire last week, and if you've been there in the prior years, it was usually held in Las Vegas. But unfortunately, for the second year in a row, I did not get to go to Las Vegas last week. It was all held virtually. All of the videos are available on demand if you missed it, so you should be able to watch them as well. And as has already been mentioned in this live insights, the major news, it was with much pomp and circumstance that Windows 365 was announced. The first question that Windows 365 answered was why they rebranded Windows Virtual Desktop to Azure Virtual Desktop. It was because this product was coming and there would have been too much confusion between the two. So even with that rebranding, Windows 365 is a bit of a mystery. There's some piecemeal information out there where we're getting, some information here left and right, but it's been called the PC in the cloud, or as we have called this before, the desktop as a service. So it really is the same transformation that Office 365 brought to the Office suite, where you used to buy a CD, install it on your computer, and now you can just download it from the cloud, and as long as you have an internet connection, you can access all of your apps and all of your data, and everything stays persistent. For Windows 365, it's going to be available for both the business and the enterprise segment of CSP, but there are going to be some differences between the two. On the business side, there's going to be an option to choose between basic, standard, and premium, much like for M365, you have basic, standard, and premium. And the licensing cost will be the only fee. There will be, however, quotas on bandwidth, so you'll have to make sure that it applies, to your customers, and then you'll be able to flip between basic, standard, and premium depending on which fits their need. On the enterprise side, there will be many more options, at least 12 to size different cloud PCs that you can access from the browser, so you can kind of flip them on demand. And there will be delicensing costs, but there will also be a bandwidth fee. So you're not going to be limited on the bandwidth that you get to use, but it will be part of the cost that you receive. As far as hardware and internet requirements, the information that we have is that if you're able to stream a movie on a device, you will be able to run Win365 with a smooth experience. So hopefully not much, buffering or resolution loss whenever you're in a low bandwidth area. There's also going to be the same requirements as Azure Virtual Desktops on the M365 licensing side, because as you know, since this connects through Azure AD, there are some other components that need to be put in place in order for this to work. And then, of course, the major question that everyone has been asking since it's been announced and that has not been answered is that we do not have information on pricing. Microsoft has been very, very tight-lipped. There was a leak on one of the sessions at Inspire that showed one build with a $31 price point. But from experience, I would say, be very careful before, counting your eggs, because this may change before the official launch on August 2nd. The real information will only be available on August 1st, so we'll have just 24 hours to turn around to get to know how that's going to be priced. But from experience, again, whenever a company withholds pricing until the very, very end, be prepared for some sort of sticker shock. Right, it's gonna take a lot of math, like Slater said earlier, to figure out if it's gonna be the best thing for your customers, because this type of service should eliminate the need to purchase expensive PCs on site. So that's gonna be the total cost comparison that will come in the future. The other big news that I thought was worth of note from Inspire was also already mentioned by Slater, which is the lowered fee from the marketplace from 20% down to 3%. So it's a major drop in charges from Microsoft for you to publish either your apps, your service, any type of offers that you have on their marketplace, so that you can boost your co-sell exposure, get some more referrals from Microsoft, get more involved into the network, and also meet some great like-minded partners, a little bit like the peer-to-peer program that we want to do. Microsoft kind of has that set up in place, so whenever you want to work on a complex project, with multiple partners, it can be done very well through the marketplace and the co-sell offerings. That's pretty much it for the major news from Microsoft. And because this week we were covering, other industry news, I felt that I would just kind of say, hey, here's a picture of some pandas, which is in news. Chinese officials have confirmed that the wild pandas are now no longer endangered, because their number in the wild has reached 1,800. Obviously, they're still vulnerable, but it's a great news to have, and Lord knows we need some good news nowadays, right?
That's for sure. That's for sure. So thanks as always, Alex, and it's always a fun, exciting segment. So for those of you that don't know, actually, Alex's primary role at Sherweb is the Program and Incentives Manager. So if you guys are looking to find ways to profit even more from the Microsoft partnership, whether it's from backend incentives or training or stuff like that, please reach out to your account manager, and we constantly organize. We're keeping Alex busy with those consultations.
Yes, and since you brought that up, I'm just gonna do like the Steve Jobs one more thing. We just have now received the flyers for the FY22 incentives program. So look for some news coming from us shortly. It's only good news. From what I've seen, it's really just, it makes it easier for partners to get into it. And the one thing I will say is that for Microsoft Commerce Incentive, the criteria, instead of gold and cloud platform only, has been lowered. They accept silver now. So that's going to be a tremendous opportunity for a lot of our partners that have a focus on Azure to receive all of those incentives. So thank you for bringing that up.
Well, that's great news. I even learned myself a couple of things. So
yeah.
Looking forward to get an understanding of the new incentive structure. And So that was the end of our news segment for today. So before we get into the Q&A, I'd just like to remind you of a couple of things. So first of all, please feel free to share any feedback to the survey link that we'll be posting. So we'll constantly looking for ways to improve those presentations. And also make sure to subscribe to our main social media platform, including YouTube and LinkedIn, as we're constantly posting news there and updates, so that you stay aware of the main scoops in the ecosystem. And finally, the next Live Insights will be in August, so a bit less than a month from now, August 19th. So I'll be on vacation, so it might be a different host that time, but looking forward to see what's going to be happening in the next 30 days for sure. So it's not too late to post any questions or comments. It's going to be our pleasure to answer everything you guys want to learn more about. We'll be bringing back all the speakers on the stage. So Sophie, I believe you're going to be the host of the Q&A section.
I am indeed.
How's it going?
It is going very well, thank you. So I've got a couple of questions for Dwayne to start off with around the promos. Would the professional services team help me take advantage of the Azure discount promo?
Absolutely. So not just the professional service team, but also the pre-sales team as well too. So both teams are knowledgeable about it. And if you need help, like they'll make sure that you can choose the right servers because you have to it only qualifies for the B servers and D server series. So they'll be able definitely to help you out and definitely take advantage of the professional services if you've never done a virtual desktop environment before. They'll be able to help you set it up and make sure that it's up and running based on your business requirements.
And is this offer eligible for free trials?
Yes, it is. So if you do, if you have clients that sign up through the Azure free trials, yeah, as long as they choose the B and D series, they'll be able to take advantage of the promo as well too. But in their free trial, of course, it's going to be there's no cost for the free trial, but you'll see the discounted pricing. And then if you migrate them over to production, then you'd still be able to maintain the promo for the 90 days.
Looks like we have quite a few more questions for you as well in terms of the certification week. Do we pay for the certification week?
Nope, the certification is free. It's a 4-day class, 4-day course. And yeah, no, it's totally free.
I am on the East Coast. Will I still be able to attend?
Yes, you do. So they have 2 sessions. They have a session in the daytime and a session at night. So basically all you need to do is pick the session that fits within your schedule, and then you're good to go.
How much preparation is needed before attending the certification week?
So once you sign up, you should receive some prep work for the track that you've chosen. It's recommended that you do the prep work, which links to a variety of free training options. I would say, commit at least 5 to 10 hours to reviewing, attending the prerequisite resources and courses prior to attending the certification week.
And can people sign up for more than one training session?
That one's going to be a bit complicated because even though they have multiple tracks like Azure, Dynamics, Microsoft 365, they're all running at the same time. So they're not like, so for example, I think Azure would start at 9, then Microsoft will start at 9 as well. So it's going to be a bit complicated to try to sign up for 2 that are running at the same time. So I would say definitely choose the one that you really want to get certified in, and then really just focus on that.
So now on to Nerdio Manager for MSP. Is Nerdio Manager for MSP available in Cumulus?
Not at the moment, but it's going to be available in Cumulus very soon, but it's still going to be available through the Azure portal. So we would always suggest our partners, if they're interested in getting Nerdio Manager for MSP, to get it through the Azure portal. And once that is done, reach out to your account manager and let us know what the subscription ID is that you currently have, that when you assigned it through the Azure portal, through the marketplace, I mean, And then what we're going to do on our side is our cloud ops team will actually take a look at the subscription ID, do all the necessary changes, so therefore you'll be able to take advantage of your partner discount.
And can Nerdio Manager for MSP manage the new Windows 365 environments?
Oh yes, absolutely. Nerdio has been working really closely with Microsoft over the past years, so they actually knew ahead of time of the Windows 365, and they were actually able to make sure that their platform was ready for Windows 365.
Now, thank you very much, Dwayne. That's all for you. Over to Tram. What benefits does Letsignit offer compared to other signature managers?
Awesome question, and I probably would summarize it or basically mention three main kind of like competitive differentiators for Letsignit. Definitely the first one is ease of use, like the setup and managing directory are both very easy, and so far from the feedback what we've heard from our partners, they're very, very satisfied with the way Letsignit works. The second thing probably would be marketing, that you're able to have campaign management with built-in tracking immediately right away with the one SKU. And the third one is probably also interface. So it's very user-friendly and allows users to use templates or build like fully customized signatures. So I would say probably those are like the three main differentiators from Letsignit.
Does Letsignit integrate with anything other than Microsoft?
Yes, Letsignit also integrates with Google Workspace and Hosted Exchange.
Are there different offer types for Letsignit?
Also, yes. We basically at Sherweb offer three different types of Letsignit. You can either, for example, start right away with the free Letsignit starter offer, or, for example, also get the Letsignit business offer, which basically includes all the features and functionalities. And also we include or offer up to 50 free NFR licenses for our partners as well. So definitely just reach out to your account manager to activate those, for example.
And what about not for resale licenses for Letsignit? Are there some available? And if so, what are the conditions?
Yeah, I think I just mentioned them as the last point. So yep, we offer like up to 50 free NFR licenses, so not for resale licenses. And there are no conditions except for the general Sherweb conditions for NFR.
Great, thank you. So Sarah, got some few questions around Accelerate. Who are the keynote speakers announced for Accelerate so far?
Absolutely. So for now, we have two keynote that are announced. So on the business track side, we have Eric Wallman, which is a best-selling author and an expert on digital leadership. And on the infrastructure side, we have Kit Colbert, VP and CTO of Cloud Platform at VMware. And we have more to announce on the security track and all around. So stay tuned for that.
One for you, Mike. What level of infrastructure experience do I need to benefit from the Accelerate sessions?
None. Come as you are. I think we're going to have a great mix of people. Some that are going to benefit from not having a lot of experience and will really kind of get the fundamentals. So you'll be a little bit smarter than me by the time you're done. To people that are way smarter than me, they're going to have conversations with my experts, and they'll be able to give you run for your money.
And whilst I have you, Mike, as well, what are the other focus areas of Accelerate 2021?
Sure. So Accelerate's going to have a lot this year. It's basically centered around three topics, though, that we've decided are like really, really interesting. And I completely agree, as I'm biased because I have staff that do most of these things. There's going to be 5 keynotes and 24 breakout sessions. It'll be focused on business growth, security, and cloud infrastructure, which are the hottest things that I talk about day in, day out, as is my team. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Sarah, someone has asked, can I change my experience if I change my mind later? So I'm guessing that is between virtual versus in-person.
Absolutely, it is possible. The only thing is to reach out to us. So either it's through your account manager, or I'll drop the email address, which is accelerate@sherweb.com. You can just reach out to us and we'll guide you through the process.
Great. Now, Sarah, again, I think you can answer this one. Does the Knowledge Network list virtual events only or in-person events as well?
So it lists both virtual and in person. We have webinars, training, anything that is live on demand as well, and it's constantly updated. So stay tuned. Also, we'll add some trade shows that we're going as well. So really is a great place just to go see what's coming with Sherweb.
And one last question, this time for Jeremy. I have 0 experience with Dynamics 365. Can I still attend the virtual training day?
For sure. This is for you. If you have zero experience, I've never seen the interface for Business Central. This is a great start, a great introduction into this world. And even if you have some experience, feel free to check it out because it contains a lot of information. Like I said, it's 4 hours of content by Microsoft experts. So you will still learn a few things, even if you have experience. So experience or not, check it out for sure.
That is all the questions that we have for today, guys. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sophie. So that wraps up then our July edition of Live Insights. Again, make sure to check out the August edition on August 19th. And the 2 keywords that I certainly retained from today is infrastructure and accelerate. So those are the 2 call actions you can bring to your account manager, and we'll make sure to reach out to you with all the details of the event if not already done. So thanks again, guys, for being here the whole hour with us, and looking forward to talk soon.